Okay, we have 2 minutes left, 2 minutes left for the event to continue. Can we continue to introduce ourselves? I can see only two responses, our names, where we are joining from, and the organizations that we belong to. Once again, my name is Victor Obidi. All right, it's 11:13 already. Welcome back everyone here. And for those who have just joined us, you are welcome as well. In the chat box, you can introduce yourselves, your names, where you're joining us from, and also the organization that you are working with or what you do. All right, my name is Victor Obidi from Adamawa State, and I work with Today for Tomorrow initiative. I welcome everybody here who has brought out time to join this particular event. You are highly welcomed. I'd like to give a brief introduction of Today for Tomorrow initiative, right? Today for Tomorrow initiative is a youth and women-led organization that is focused on bringing about youth development in the mind, that is focused on bringing about the development of the women, of young girls, and our vision, what drives us, is to have an inclusive society where every adolescent and youth attain their rights and full potential, to have an inclusive society where adolescents, where youth, where women, where young girls attain their rights and give them an opportunity to showcase their full potential. All right, and then to bring about this vision to life, our mission is to empower adolescents and youth for improved lives through training, through mentoring, through empowerment, right? And then our main thematic areas, what we majorly focus on is health, that is sexual reproductive health and rights, including HIV, GBV, human-centered development as well, and also economic strengthening. At the ending of this particular session, you're going to get to know about two major arms of Today for Tomorrow initiative. You're going to get to know about two major arms of Today for Tomorrow initiative, and that is today's impact community and today's skill hub. I wouldn't want to speak about them now, don't worry. They are very, very exciting arms that would pick your attention, right? That will pick your attention so well. At the ending of this particular session, we get to know more about today's impact community and today's skill hub. All right, now speaking about our guests, our keynote speakers for today, we are going to have Mrs. Adeg Basi, who is the program's lead for her Response Count project and also the executive director for Today for Tomorrow initiative, right? That is number one. Number two, we have Glory, who is a spoken word artist. She's going to have a timing for a spoken word presentation regarding climate advocacy. And then we have Phoebe, who is a climate advocate that is going to be speaking to us regarding climate. All right. We have Adegbasi, our keynote speaker, the first keynote speaker for today, who is our executive director for Today for Tomorrow initiative, as well as the program's lead for her response count. And then Phoebe, who is a climate advocate, that will have her own timing to speak also. And then we have Glory Kume, who is a spoken word artist. She will have her own presentation as well. Next, I would invite Favor Itiosa Gabriel to go on with the opening remark. She is our communications lead for her response count project. Thank you very much. Favor, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me. I want to see your reactions, your thumbs ups, your likes. Okay, so my name is Favor Etiosa Gabriel. I am the communications lead Today for Tomorrow initiative. And this webinar was designed to speak on climate change, climate issues affecting young people, affecting our health. So before I go into the full reason for this, let me introduce her response count project that bettered this webinar. So her response count project is a project implemented by Today for Tomorrow initiative with fundings from Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund, WPHF, and support from UN Women. Yes. So we are currently implementing this project in two local governments, Demsa and Numa local government in Adamawa State. And the goal for this project is for us to involve women, to train women to be decision makers and also be involved in climate-related conflicts, peace resolution in their communities. So we started this project in the month of September, and over the years, over the past few months, we've had a lot of women that has been trained on climate action, trained on decision making, and also be involved in peace resolution in their community. And a few months back, we had our podcast series where we brought together young people, men, women, to speak on climate change. We all know about the whole flooding issues. We know of the climate header conflict and the like. So through this, through our podcast series that we hosted few months back, I think about a month now ago, we had to look at bringing this to you. We know a lot of people were not present. A lot of us are not from Adamawa State, so you were not present during the live production of the podcast to hear how climate change affects your health as young people, how climate change affects your mental health. Those of us that stay in the north, we know how the heat season, how we felt a lot of it, especially in Adamawa State here. So we know how the heat was so intense. Same with the current rain that is going on. Some places are getting flooded and how it generally affects our health. So this is why we had to put together this webinar. And we have three powerful people that will be speaking to us, our keynote speaker and our climate advocates. Yes, climate advocates are young people that participated in our social media campaign, and they are now using their platform to speak on climate change, women inclusion, and peace resolution. So I want all of us to sit back, enjoy this section. If you have questions, please pen down your question during the question and answer time. We'll give you room to ask your questions and also make your contribution. So thank you so much for joining us. And over to you, Victor.
Okay, thank you very much, Favor. That was a very, very beautiful one. And Why am I not seeing reactions for Favor? That was a very, very beautiful remark by Favor Itiosa Gabriel. And moving on, we are inviting our first keynote speaker, that is Adeg Basi, all right, who is the Executive Director for Today for Tomorrow initiative, as well as the programs lead for her response count. Even as I'm passing the mic to her, can you just react? I'd like to see your reactions here now, even as I'm passing the microphone to her. Can you react? Can you welcome her? Can you welcome her? Our first keynote speaker, Mrs. Adegbasi. Over to you, ma.
All right, thank you so much. Let me give a verbal, like an on-site clap, not for myself, but for everyone that has showed up here in this webinar. Thank you so much. Victor is just dragging titles on my head. I don't know why Victor likes titles so much. What I want everybody to remember me for in this meeting is, oh, Adegbasi was here and she usually uses her voice to transform life. If anybody notices anything about me is that I always find a way to say something that passes the right information to another person, especially my fellow young people, so they can make the right choices and, you know, like get their life transformed. So that is always what I want people to remember me for. Yeah, on the project that Victor has been highlighting, I'm just the technical guide, and we have amazing young people who are leading the entire project. And it has been an awesome journey for months now. And today, I'm so happy to be attending this live webinar for the sake of young people. You know that we have had so many young people use their social media platform as a powerful tool in sending out the right information, you know, in sharing, using their creativity. Some of them use art, some of them use article creation, some of them use different means just to pass a message and add their voice and mobilize actions towards people collectively doing one or two things that will help us reduce the climate hazard and contribute to a very good climate change that will support our own entire good health and well-being. Every day we all see climate issues arising at different locations, from flooding to drought. Even right now, if you go to the market and buy your previous farming products, for example, like yesterday, I was making potatoes chips and I was making sweet potatoes chips, right? And I peeled the potatoes. I had to like test it raw. It was not as sweet as the potatoes that we used to have before. I don't want to sound like I'm, oh, I won't say those days that we used to have before. The potatoes used to taste very sweet. I realized that it was not as sweet as before. You could actually eat it raw and it's sweet. I now fried it and I was also trying to test it. I tested it. It was also not as sweet as sweet potatoes that we know. That means even our farm products, because of climate changes and things that are happening in the agricultural system now, it also affected the end product of the things that we are now using. Even as much as, example, ginger. Ginger is no longer as hot as it was. This is just a real-time example of how the impact of climate issues can affect everything from our environment to our food product to our ozone layers. There's always there's a high chance now of people getting cancer, for example, not because cancer is an endemic or is a disease that it just have to happen. Sometimes our environment factor, our climate situations now can also play a high key role in contributing us to exposing us to having cancer. But most of us that you're using your creams, you don't even know the composition of that cream you're using on your skin. And therefore, ozone layer is already depleted. People have cut down trees because of urbanization, right? People are no longer using trees. They are building big buildings and everything. It has reduced the natural air that has always been there. The natural things that we needed to sustain ourselves has also been reduced. There's a whole lot of usage of, you know, generators, things that are causing more hazard to ourselves, you know, than good. And it has also cost reducing people's lifespan to what it was originally. Now, if you even live to the age of 60 or 70 is like good old age, or even 60 is like old age now, because of a lot of things has been affected and highly contributed by climate, environmental issues, you know, and most of these things are things that are caused by human. Someone asked me yesterday in a class and said, why climate issues are natural disaster, are natural hazard. What do you think human beings can do to reduce it or to help? I don't think any human being can do anything to address climate issues. And I said no, that most of this climate hazard that we are seeing now, they are also contributed by human practices and our behaviors. For example, the way we discriminate, or the way we throw our waste product, you take pure water, you throw it on the floor, you want to go and empty your dustbin, you just throw it by the roadside, by one empty land. When rain now falls, you no longer have a pure drainage around your environment to take the water flow to how it can go. And it now leads to blockage. And blockage now leads to, of course, flooding. And everybody now gets affected. Sometimes people even die at the cause of this flooding. So it just clearly shows that our little practices as human beings also contribute to causing this hazard that we claim or we think it is natural. How we take care of our environment, the things that we do, how we cut down trees, how we don't plant trees, how we don't care. We don't play a key role to support a good climate environment for ourselves. It also affects all of us. It also affects us and do us more harm than good. And at the end of the day, it doesn't prolong, our lives are being affected, right? So this is for me to say that everyone everywhere, irrespective of your age, have a huge role collectively that we can play in addressing climate issues. And I also want to give a shout out to the advocates using the social media platform. Everything starts with sharing the right information to people. What you hear and what you see determines the actions that you take, and the actions that you take determines the kind of result that you get. Most of us are products of things that we've heard and seen. So this means that even as little as using your Facebook, your WhatsApp status, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, even TikTok, if you even want to go and dance on TikTok, but let your dancing be communicating a message. Don't protect your skin, no climate. There's something you can do with your platform that whoever is watching that video or that content is now propelled to take an action that will help reduce all of this problem, right? And so we believe in the power of information. I also want to leave and end my keynote speaking here to encourage all of us that we all have a role to play. As a young person, as a woman, as a man, as a community at large, everybody, every system, every organization, don't say you're not responding to climate project, because at the end of the day, you are implementing your projects, your activities, your business, you are living in an environment that requires a very healthy and enabling environment that doesn't have a lot of climate crisis, right? So I believe that even after this webinar, it will just charge us more and motivate us to say, hey, look, I'm going to make a commitment to say, I am going to do A, B, C, D, and Z, starting from my home, starting from my environment, to reduce climate hazard. It might be anything, could be done as any simple thing could be done. It could be you no longer discard your waste anyhow. It could be anything, right? So I want to end by looking at everyone. If you can raise your hand on this chat right now, like in this webinar, just to show a sign of commitment that I am going to do something to address climate issues. If I see your hands, I will know that I have the right minds here, and together we are going to make climate issues reduce. And even in this conversation, I want to encourage you all to please add your voice, not just to talk and go. Tell us way forward. Tell us actions. Your ideas, your suggestions as young people can even be the next solution that the world has been waiting for, to see that this problem is reduced. Government is not going to come and do anything for us. We can't depend on them completely. You are also government. You have a role to play, starting from your home, from your environment, right? So I personally want to encourage you to speak, to respond, to take action, and let's take this conversation further. Thank you so much for having me. And I will keep doing my thing, using my voice, using my actions to reduce problems that are affecting us young people, even especially around climate and also conflict issues. Thank you so much, and Victor, over to you. Let's have a great deliberation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Adegbasi. Can we all appreciate her, please? Can you appreciate her? Can you appreciate her? Can you keep doing that? Can you appreciate Adegbasi? For those of you who went through the chat box, you see where she introduced herself and she said, My name is Adegbasi, the one that uses her voice to transform lives. I work with Today for Tomorrow initiative. Now, this is her own dream, something to be very, very, very inspired about. Okay, her main dream to use her voice to transform lives, and this is something that she is already doing at this time. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Okay, I'm going on to the next. I hope we are all writing our questions down, right? I hope we are all writing our questions down. Yeah, even as we're writing our questions down, I am inviting someone who is going to present a spoken word presentation now, whose name is Peter Andrew. He's coming up to give us something that we are going to enjoy, something we are going to learn from, something that is going to motivate us to do more in spoken word, through spoken word at this time. So I hope that we can react, drop our reactions, appreciate Peter Andrew even as he comes up. I pass the mic to him and he comes up to give us his own presentation. Thank you very much. Peter, over to you. Okay, hello guys. I feel the network actually kicked Peter out. I got that information just recently. So now we move on and invite Glory Kume, the spoken word artist, for her own presentation. So Glory Kume, you are invited. I'm passing the mic to you. So you have the stage now. Can you react? Can you appreciate her as she takes the mic and continues with her presentation? Thank you.
And please, can you react so that I will know that you're listening to? Am I audible? Okay,
Yes,
please
Glory.
react so that I will know. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, so today we're talking narrow down. Young people don't care about their health. Now, before you argue with me, listen to me. We don't like medications. We are the kind of people who choose suya over medication. We don't care about exercises. And sickness is not really something that holds us down unless we are unable to work. Young people are always carefree, especially when it comes to health. They don't give it the most attention unless they have been told to stay on bed rest. Now, for an average young person that doesn't care about his health, how do you expect that person to understand when you say the earth is sick? Because it's the same concept. If I cannot take care of my own self when I am sick, then how can I be able to take care of the earth just because I heard it is sick? I would only pass the same habits I have to my own self, to that same earth. And that is why we're getting low response of young persons when it comes to climate change. But when we look at the normal day scenario, who actually pays more attention when people are sick? I would say the mother, because the mother is the one who forces you to go to the hospital. She is the one who ensures you take the medication, even if she is not the one who is responsible of taking or getting the medication, rather. Climate action is really necessary. Physical science have the role to play in action. There are so many contributions that are not going to be heard if it is not shared by a woman. There are so many decisions that are not going to be made if it is not imposed by a woman. But then if men are speaking for climate action and women and mothers are speaking for climate action, then where is the voice of the young person? Now, you have a role. I have a role. We all have our own contributions to play, because if there is a young person in the equation of humanity, then there is the role of a young person in taking care of the earth where we all live. You might say that, how does climate change affect my health? But do you know that hot temperatures actually accumulate more dust, which results to allergies, especially for persons that are asthmatic? And these days, so many persons are having cause-related issues, and too many persons are making use of inhalers because of climate change. But it doesn't stop there. When the climate keeps changing, even the mosquitoes get confused. And these days, they are just everywhere and everyone is falling sick. It's malaria here, malaria there. The rates are very high because our climate is changing. The earth is sick and it is begging, screaming, crying for attention. Now, heat wave. Heat wave is one of the most unstable conditions, and it is one of the conditions that amplifies diseases because your system is not balanced. Today it is facing heat, tomorrow it is seeing cold, it doesn't know where to stay, and definitely you are going to fall sick. Even if you're not sick, you would feel weak, and that affects productivity for a young person who is expected to be vibrant and to deliver in his or her community. And then don't get me started talking about inflation of foodstuffs. Directly or indirectly, you are affected, because when flooding comes, it doesn't affect whose houses to invade. It affects the young person, it affects the mother, the father, it affects even the littlest child who cannot speak. So if you care about your family, if you care about your community, if you care about how successful you want to be as a young person, then you should listen to the call that the earth is giving to us and play your part. How do you do that? It is as simple as using that vibrant energy that you have as a young person and clearing that gutter in your community. It doesn't take much from you. It is something that you can actually do. It is as simple as explaining climate change and letting your parents know the climate actions they can take. If you are feeling so shy to talk to your parents, you can share it across your peers. Advocacy is key. It is very important. And if you're trying to say it's not comfortable, advocacy is not meant to be comfortable. But when you understand the message you're passing across and the impact it would deliver, you would know that you are meant to do it. We have social platforms. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok. Why won't you convert your content into messaging? It can be the same captions you're writing, but this time around, let your captions be more meaningful. Let it speak to humanity. Let it birth impact, and let it include the earth which you seek. It can be your video content. You can even be dancing, but even as you dance, you can put out text that actually speaks out to what is going on. Because climate change is a serious problem. But I want you to know that climate change is not only a world problem. It is also your problem, because you are on earth and you need a future on this earth. So to a young person listening to me, climate change can actually affect your health, but climate action makes things better. Thank you.
Oh, that is one very, very beautiful one from Glory Kume. Can you please appreciate her? From Glory Babale Kume. Can you appreciate her? I like to see your reactions. I love to see your reactions. I like to see your reactions. Thank you so much for that one, Glory Kume. That was a very, very impactful, wonderful presentation from you right there. Thank you so much for this one. I believe a lot of us have learned so much from the few minutes that you've used to speak to us. Thank you very much. We are going to use the next 5 minutes for to fill an attendance form, which will be uploaded to the comment section now. So your attention should be on the chat box, and the link to the attendance will be uploaded. So we use the next 5 to 6 to 7 minutes to fill in our attendance form, and then we submit.
All right, sorry, Victor, to interject. While people are filling the attendance form, I also want to also something we can add in the few minutes that Victor has given, that you can just reshare this actual meeting right now on your status, on your different groups. We are also streaming this same webinar on TF platform so that people can always go back to watch, right? So just in a few minutes, help us re-invite people, share this webinar before we go deeper down into the conversation. So with that action alone is going to increase more people to be part of this conversation, and that will be courtesy of you because you reshared it to another ear to come and hear what we are all going to hear in the conversation. So thank you so much. Just wanted to just add that. I've also shared. Please let's do the same.
All right, I believe we are still in the process of sharing, and for some of us, we have concluded the process for sharing, right? Also, the link for the attendance has actually been uploaded to the chat box. We can as well check in with us and fill the spaces there. We can fill up our attendance, And in the next 1 minute, Peter Andrew will come up next to have his own presentation. In the next 1 minute, Peter is coming up next to have his own presentation while we fill up our attendance and do the sharing as recommended. Thank you. Peter, get ready. It's few seconds left. Peter, get ready. Thank you very much. Please, if you filled your attendance, you can comment done. If you shared, you can as well comment done in the chat box. If you filled your attendance, you can comment done in the chat box. If you shared, you can comment done also in the chat box. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. For Glory, your presentation was beautiful. Thank you. And now we are inviting Peter Andrew for your own presentation. Can you react? Can you appreciate him as he begins? Thank you very much. Peter, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Peter Andrew. First of all, I'll start by introducing myself. I'm a spoken word artist. I play a lot with words, but this time around, I'm creating a change with it. I think I need a deep breath. Maybe a deeper breath. Since when did those eco-friendly policies suddenly become a threat to their factories? Since when did the chimney suddenly fall in love with my nostrils? Since when did those gases suddenly find my lungs attractive that they don't want to leave? But you know, they say they're going to give you compensation. Compensation for what, actually? Compensation for what, actually? Compensation for my daily submission or my monthly submissions to the hospitals, or the life loss compensation for my long suffering, or my stomach compensation for what, actually? I don't know how long I can keep up. I don't know how long I can keep up with these gases up in my chest, but I know I can keep up with it long enough to keep taking my daughter to the hospital. Because last week, the doctor says her immune system is weak, but I can't understand how her immune system would be weak when week in, week out, she keep taking, drinking, and eating a balanced diet. Balanced diet? But is it really a balanced diet? Or is this sort of a form of a balance equation that is just keeping our system, helping us not to diet? Because I don't understand how we complement our farmlands and crop with fertilizers and then later on complement our systems and body with supplements. I think this is a balance equation, huh? This NPK is slowly becoming a rapid AK in disguise. These guys, I have a word for you. These guys that is constantly changing the algorithm of our climate. These guys that are becoming unethical programmers. These guys that are giving commands like, oh, I cut down trees and then I increase the rate of flooding and then I increase the global warming and then I flood the states and then increase the rate of house losses and then increase the rate of investment loss and then increase the rate of farmland loss and then pain and then agony and then sorrow and then trauma and then anxiety. These guys, I have a word for you. These guys that are constantly filling our dump sites, that are constantly filling our drainage with waste, sewage, and sewage, plastic bottle cans. These guys that are finding it hard to understand the meaning of mitigate or adapt. These guys, I have a word for you. Compliments of the season. Hey, you may be wondering what a season is, but hey, see, this is a season where you stop destroying and start adapting. Hey, this is the season where you pause and think of the 3, 6, 9, 12-year-old future before you think of multiplying your crops yield with fertilizers. This is a season where you stop naming and rating climate disasters and start taking actions to end these disasters. This is a time and this is a season where you start taking care of your health by first taking care of your climate health. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Wait, I think I'm not the only person that is having this feeling, right? Peter, thank you. You can turn off your camera, please. Thank you very much, Peter, for that one. Was I the only one that was scared when he started gasping for breath in the beginning? At first, I did not really think it was part of the presentation. I was, hope Peter is okay. I'm a presentation. And then by the time he went in fully, I then understood the message he was trying to pass. That was very, very beautiful from you, Peter. That was very beautiful from you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. I don't think I'm the only one that is feeling this way. I believe others too around here are feeling the same way. Thank you for that, Peter. That was a very powerful and amazing one. Right. Right now, we are going to invite our second keynote speaker, who is Phoebe, the climate advocate. The climate advocate. Even as I pass the microphone to her, can you please drop your reactions? Can you appreciate her presence? Can you appreciate her presence? Phoebe, I am passing the mic to you. I am letting you be on the stage and go on with what you have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Victor. Please, can you all react if you can hear me? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so hello everyone and good morning. It's actually good to be here, to be on this webinar, and I want to first of all say thank you to TFT for granting me this opportunity to be here and contribute to climate conversations such as this. So my name is Phoebe Philip Yerima, and more people know me as Phoebe the Green Custodian. I am an ecologist and a climate advocate. I basically make climate, the whole concept of climate change, make sense to different audiences, from children to young people and adults in general. So before we go forward, I'd like to ask a question. I believe this webinar, there's a lot of people on here, from students to those who are done schooling. I'd like to know how many of you ended up studying what you had planned from when you were young. I'd like to see your reaction if what you applied to study for in school was what you ended up studying. I would like to see your reactions. Okay. Okay, I can see one person, and we are a lot here. That's interesting. So I guess a lot of us here can actually relate to my story, which I would like to share. Okay, I'm seeing 2 other people. That's nice. That's interesting. Okay, now I'm pretty sure there's a lot others who did not get that opportunity, just like me. Growing up, I wasn't really sure of what I wanted to do after secondary school. I was about going to the university. I did not know what exactly I wanted to do. But growing up, they kept telling us, oh, you can't go wrong with being a doctor. And also I said, let's see what happens. And I decided to go for that. I applied to be a medical doctor, and the first list came out. I happened to be on that list. I was like, okay, fine, let's see what happens. 2 weeks later, a second list came out and I was no longer there. At first, I was sad and worried, but I was told, oh, you can check the list of other courses, and there it was. Apparently, my admission was withdrawn from studying medicine to a whole different course. And it was confusing at first to me because I was given a course I haven't heard of before. Nobody around me could really explain what that course was all about. Ecology. I was given the course ecology to study in school. And I know I must have heard of the term before, but I did not know what exactly it meant. But at that point in my life, I knew I wasn't so sure of what I wanted to do. So I said, well, let's do it. Let's see what comes out of it. And then I started that course reluctantly, but somewhere down the line, I started to develop interest because it is basically the study of how we as humans interact with our environment in general. Yeah, how your daily habits pose an effect on the environment, how your habits also improves the health of the environment. Before that time, I did not know that our activities as human beings has effects on our environment. Now, from there, I kept going on. But even at that time, I wasn't so sure what I was going to do with this course after school because I'm like, ecology, when I finish, what will I become? What would I do? I never even knew there was anything like advocating for your environment, advocating for climate or what have you, until I started attending programs and then volunteering with organizations. Then eventually I started meeting people and networking in this space. And that helped me a whole lot in where I am today because it opened my eyes to the problems we're facing in our environment and how I, as a young person, can come in and also contribute, no matter how little, to the conversations, because I figured out that speaking about it also plays a vital role. You may not be able to take an action there and then, but speaking about it alone is something very, very important because you never know who is listening. You never know the number of people who actually look up to you and would actually do what you say. Now, we as young people, climate change is actually our very own issue. Because a lot of people feel like, I'm not really the climate person. This is not what I am into. This is not what I'm focused on. I don't really have to talk about this, but it is our problem. It is our problem. Because as long as you're on Earth, you're living on this planet Earth, it is your problem. We see how it affects young people when there are flood crisis in environments. You see schools are shutting down. Young people can no longer go to school. We see how it affects the mental capacity of young people. A lot of young people are being reported to have mental health issues as a result of their environment. The fear, the anxiety, the worry about, if my environment is looking this way today, what then should I be expecting in the future? What then is my future going to look like? So it's a whole lot. It is a whole lot for we young people, and it is our responsibility to actually stand up and speak up for these things. A lot of people might feel, oh, it's not that deep. It is actually, it is very deep. And some of the ways you can take actions are, you can raise awareness, which as simple as your social media. Yeah, you just randomly snap pictures and post, but you can speak about this issue because we are the ones causing these problems for ourselves. We are the ones causing these issues. So raising awareness helps other people who have not heard about this. You have the opportunity as a young person to know about the effects of these things. Now, your responsibility is now to push this forward to a wider audience. Let other people get to know about it. That is the little way you can help to fix this issue. You can also participate in environmental projects, cleanups, tree planting, waste management initiatives. There are a lot of people and organizations doing this out there. You can volunteer. That was one of the things that actually helped me a lot. I did a lot of volunteering. When you go out, you network with people in this space and you actually get to see the impact of what you're going to do and the impact of what other people are doing, it will motivate you to want to do more. You can also decide to be an advocate. You can dedicate your time, your social media, and what you have to actually speak about this thing called climate change. That is something you can also do. You can also adopt sustainable lifestyles because this climate change issue is not really far-fetched. It's something that you can start from as little as the way you behave in your environment. It plays a vital role. It plays a vital role in fixing climate change. It can be in taking your water bottles when you go out instead of buying plastic bottled water, which after you consume it, you end up trashing it in your environment. But if you have your water bottle, you go out with it every day, you find out that over time, it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit for you because if you're going out, you find out you can't even step out without your water bottle. So these are lifestyles you adopt over time. And before you know it, even the people in your house, your family members would actually see you doing this and they will adopt it. And before you know it, you have actually affected someone close to you. Yeah. So in conclusion, youth are not just beneficiaries of climate action, right? We are the leaders. We are the ones who are going to bring innovative ideas. We are the ones bringing innovation that is going to bring about the healing of our planet. Yeah, because with the way technology is moving now, young people have a lot to contribute. You know, when we hear they say, oh, Nigerian youths are lazy. We are not lazy. We are not lazy. It is when you go out, you see young people having innovative ideas that bring about solutions to environmental issues, you'd realize that we are actually not lazy. There's a lot we can contribute. So when you come out, you make the decision that, oh, you want to do this, you find out that there's a lot that can actually come out from you. So we are not just beneficiaries, we are leaders, we are innovators, we are agents of change, and we are tasked with the responsibility of empowering other people around us with the knowledge, with the resources to create a safer climate for our future generation. Because we may be young now, but we have hopes of seeing the future with our children and our grandchildren. So if our environment is bad now, what do you think it will look like for them if we don't take action now? So it is our responsibilities and we ought to stand up to that responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you very much for that one. Her last line, we ought to stand up for our responsibility. That is a very, very wonderful take home from the things that she said. Thank you so much. Wanting to study medicine and then later on having to study ecology and all of the things I went through. And now look at you now. You are an advocate for climate change. You're an advocate for the climate of where we are. I think we would say it's God's plan. And I feel like you're actually pursuing that dream. Yeah, you're actually pursuing that dream. Thank you. That's a very, very big inspiration for young people, a very big inspiration for most of us who probably have studied things and then we are now doing different things that actually aligns with our main passion. Thank you. That is so good. It's something that a lot of young people will relate with. Thank you very much for that. I'm expecting that I'd be seeing a lot of reactions for Phoebe, a lot of reactions for Phoebe. Can we do that? Can we do that? And in the next few seconds, I will be inviting Mrs. Adegbasi for to engage in the questions for our guest for today. Just a few seconds, I'll be inviting Mrs. Adegbasi. So Mrs. Adegbasi, please get ready just a few seconds from now. Thank you very much.
I'm talking.
All right, Ma, you can go and
Wow, thank you so much. Please, can we like celebrate Phoebe again? Like, just celebrate her. I was inspired, and I also learned a lot. You guys saw in the comment section where Glory was even taking notes of like dropping quotes coming from the things that Phoebe was also sharing. Amazing and very powerful. These really get to show that everyone everywhere has a role to play in addressing all of these issues. Thank you so much, especially even the last line of practice lifestyle that she said, where if you own your personal bottles, it reduces, it plays a huge role in reducing the disposal of plastic bottles around. I mean, that was very huge. And that's even one of the reasons why, if we think of souvenirs to give out in TFT when we're doing our projects, we always consider getting this very cool chili bottle, because it's beyond providing you water. It's just a practice that we put in the picture to see that you have a bottle that reduces you from, littering the environment with plastic bottles. All you have to do is just put your water in your fridge or somewhere and take your water along, and your bottles can always be reusable. And you just emphasize that. All right, Phoebe, I will just have some follow-up questions to engage you. But while I want to engage Phoebe, I also want to recognize the presence of Dr. Ola from UN Women. He's live here with us from the very beginning. Even when we said let's wait for few people to join us more, he has been here from the very beginning to now. So he's from UN Women, and UN Women has been this very solid UN agency that they're not just funding the project that we are doing at TFT, our response count. They are also providing technical training support, for young people who believe in making contributions and responding to issues affecting women and the community, at large generally. And it has been a very beautiful journey with them. I would just like to invite Mr. Ola to say one or two things to the so many young people that are here, because your words could live with them all through, that could translate into further actions that, can bring more results to the entire system. Over to you, Mr. Ola. Few minutes. So sorry for inviting you. I'll let you know.
Yeah, putting me on the spot, Adek. All right. So thank you very much, Adek, and your team for putting this together. I think it's timely and very, very, very important. Talking about issues of climate change. Climate change has been something that has been long overlooked, and currently it has become a serious global crisis. It is another area also that have been catching donor attention in the recent time, because it's a lot of problem. For example, if you look at what happened on the 9th of September in 2024 in Borno State, where we had issues of flood that has not happened in the last 30 years. Not talking about the number of lives that were lost, properties in billions were lost as a result of flood. So you can see the impact of climate change, not just on the life of the population, but also on the protection mechanisms, because people lost their houses, people lost their properties. Some of them just barely escaped the flood with just the wrapper on them. They lost everything to that disaster. And sometimes, of course, we can also attribute it to man-made issues, which is some of the things that were discussed here in terms of drainages. I mean, everybody is responsible. The government is responsible. The people are also responsible. So issues of climate change is everybody's responsibility, and we are all responsible. For example, government is responsible for making proper drainage systems. The people are responsible for caretaking the drainage systems that have been made. Government can do drainage system. People can clog those drainage systems with dirt. When they make drainage systems become a place of dumping refuse. It has been a normal practice. Anytime rain is falling, people come out to bring out the waste from their houses and pour into the water so that the water will take the drain. The waste including sewages, including different things. So imagine that kind of situation. Not also linking climate change and health. Currently, we have a cholera outbreak in Borno State. As a result, I mean, you know that cholera is a bacterial disease caused by Vibrio cholerae. Through fecal oral routes, people can get that. And so you see issues of open defecation where people defecate outside, water comes, wash it into those water bodies. Children playing with their hand, you know, and then they go to eat the food. Flies, you know, perching on those excretors and then coming to drop those things on your food. So you can see climate change has a lot of impact. Not also talking about the linkage of climate change and peace process, which was one of the vision for this the Hard Response Count project, looking at how can we address the issue of peace related to climate change. Now, if we want to relate peace processes and climate change, of course, you know that we have issues, especially in the Northeast, where we have farmer header classes in the Middle Belt. Where people, you know, the farmers have made their farm, the Fulani herdsmen, because of the dry spells in the north, they begin to go down to the east, and then they begin to feed on people's crops, and then that results into clashes. People are killing themselves. There is lack of peace in the community. All is climate change. So climate change is a global crisis, of course, and then just like Adep was talking about, the ozone layer being depleted as a result of bush burning, using fossil fuels and all those things. The exhaust from our cars, all those things. And then when the ozone layer is completely depleted, it's a big issue because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun coming directly to your skin. And then some people come down with skin cancers and some things. And so you can see the correlation. Climate change is a big matter. It's not something very small. It affects human race in different perspectives. Do you want to also talk about that with agricultural productivity? For example, when there is erosion, look at erosion. When there is landslides, where are you going to farm? There's no land again because there's landslide. Erosion eats up the whole place, and that's why we talk about tree planting. When you plant trees have lot of advantages, and that's where I want to stop. Tree has a lot of advantages. When you plant those trees will be able to serve as windbreaks. Those windbreaks will reduce the impact of erosion. They are able also to preserve the soil integrity. Trees are able also, you know, as a human being, you excrete or when you are breathing, carbon dioxide goes out of you. And those carbon dioxide are used by the trees or the plants. The plants that you plant, the trees you have in your house. That's why we advise people plant trees. Say, no, we are not interested. You don't know the benefit of planting trees because the trees and the plants, or the farm that you have, they absorb the carbon dioxide from you, and they give you oxygen. You use the oxygen for your own health, and they use the carbon dioxide. So you can see that there's an interrelation between you and the plant, and that really enhances your health. So I think this is very timely to sensitize us to, an awareness session to open our eyes. And I'm so happy to hear about this, the climate advocates who are using their skills, their talents to really highlight these issues, which are very critical issues that affect the human race. So thumbs up to you, Adek, and your team. Really excited to be here. And keep it up and do this more often. Let's continue to spread the word out and let people know that climate change is a big matter and it's not something that we should despise or look down on. All right, thank you so much. At this point, I hand back the mic to you. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much. For sharing a lot of wealth of knowledge and wisdom to us. Everybody, please let's react to that and celebrate. Let's celebrate that. I'm sure many of us have learned a lot. Can I see some reactions, please? Thank you so much, Mr. Ola, for sharing. Every time Mr. Ola speaks, maybe in a meeting or anywhere, there is always a wealth of knowledge that you always go back and learn something from. Every time I listen to him with my notes open, so I can just take notes. Sometimes new ideas, flash through my mind just by when he speaks, and we are also happy to have him live here with us, and he has shared a lot. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll just be going to engage in some of the people that spoke earlier. And then to the rest of us, you're not just here to listen, you're also here to also participate in this conversation. feel free to ask questions. Feel free to raise your hand to make your own contribution. It doesn't stop at this webinar. This is just like a starter. This is just like a fuel, like we are burning here, and we expect this fuel to. This is a good fuel, right? We're talking about these things, a good fuel. Let's keep spreading it even after this meeting. So if I ask a question, you have an answer, just indicate, in the comment section as well to contribute. Also feel free to type your questions in the comment section. All right, so I'll be starting with Phoebe. Can you confirm that you can hear me, Phoebe? Let's start with you, Phoebe. Ladies first. Women first. All right.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, Phoebe. All right, so my first question is, with your background in ecology, I love to guide people on career mentorship thing. And I love when people, end up finding purpose and strong alignment with what they studied, and translate it into something that becomes a huge result. There is no cause that is a waste. You might have wanted medicine, and you would have, of course, still also impact life through medicine, but now you are able to use the new career pathway that you found yourself, and then you're transitioning to a powerful result. So I really love how you're able to marry all of those things together. So with your background with ecology, what changes have you observed? Because I'm speaking to you now as an expert, Phoebe. You're an ecologist, so you're an expert. What changes have you observed in local ecosystems that signal the impact of climate change in our communities? Please speak to us, expert now. Let us know from your ecological lens, what have you observed in our local ecosystem that is a very strong signal of impact when it comes to climate change that we should take note of? Over to you, Phoebe. Hope network has not thrown her out. Apart from Phoebe, who is the ecologist, if anybody have answer, can help us indicate or respond in the chat box. We just need answers around what are the changes that we've observed, that's in our own environment, which is what we call local system, that is a signal to, that will cause a very huge impact on climate change. Phoebe, if you can hear me, please, I'd love you to respond. And if anybody have an answer to that question, let me see you. Phoebe, kindly confirm Phoebe is still on the call. Hope network has not thrown her off.
Okay, network just threw her off. I noticed she was trying to speak, but I think it's network that didn't. Yeah. All
right, check on her and let's get back here. I saw public health people in the chat box. Public health, oh yeah. Public health practitioners, can I see your hand? You should have an answer to this question as well. Public health is a wide field. You see a lot of issues that affects the general public. I would love a public health person to also give a response to this question. While we wait on Phoebe and every other person that have answered to this question that I just asked, young people, dear people in this webinar. All right, so I see, please unmute yourself. I saw a hand up. The hand has gone down again. Joseph Joel, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mrs. Adekbasi. Thank you so much for setting up something like this. It was Phoebe that actually invited me, and I don't regret attending it for one bit. I'm Joseph Joe, I'm a renewable energy expert, but I can still answer the question. You said, what are some of the signs that we see or we observe, and we know that there is climate change? I think let's start from somewhere. Let's start from the irregular rainfalls. Let's start from the past 5 years, 6 years. I'm going to be using my place as an example. I'm in Maiduguri. So if you're to be in Maiduguri for the past years, we ought to have been in the rainfall by now, having heavy rainfall. But as of today, as I'm telling you right now, we have a very heavy sun. It's up to 42 degrees, 42, 44 degrees. Now, this is the effect of climate change. The weather is shifting, the climate is shifting. We're not having irregular rainfalls. It falls today, and maybe like after 2-3 weeks, it falls again. And these are all are signs that we know that climate change is coming. And then you don't expect a farmer to be able to farm with this because he's expected to plant his crop towards May, hoping that the rainfall comes in May, and then by June he's going to have a steady rainfall or increased amount of rainfall. But then imagine a farmer that planted his crops in May, and then by June now, we just have rain about 3 to 4 times or at most 6 times here in the town. Definitely, no matter how resistant the crop is to drought, it's not going to survive. So this is just one of the signs that climate change is actually really one of the ecological signs that climate change is real. It causes we can see reduced crop yields due to the climate change.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, let's celebrate that. Anybody else have an answer to add? Is Phoebe back? I have a lot of questions for all of us. Okay, I see PC. PC, let us know where you are speaking from as well. So we'll take PC on this question and then I move on to the next question. All right, PC, over to you.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Can you hear me? No, sorry, afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry. My name is Charles Henry Tapalna, not really PC. It was automatically saved by my system. So I'm Charles Henry Tapalna, and I was invited by my ED, Professor Patricia Donley, who also happens to be on this call. Looking at your questions, what are the indicators for climate change effect in our recent days? I'm so glad with Mr. Joel's response, where he emphasized on farming and then weather and then rainfall inconsistency. Okay, mine will be in the aspect of desert and rivers and river encroachment. If we all could remember, sometimes in the past, we definitely used to see rivers very close to us and so on and so forth. But what happened to those rivers now? They are all drying up. And then even like, let's talk about forced migration, drought, forced migration from remote villages, and then where we normally see farmers who stays and farm in the bushes or in the villages can no longer farm on their farmland due to climate change issues such as drought, and then land that are not fertile, but they have to be forcefully migrate. They have to migrate forcefully due to climate change issues, drought, and all that. Then also on like I made mention of the rivers, those days we find that there are rivers very close to the houses. Even in the villages, you see big rivers, but now those rivers are really shrinking. Like for instance, I'm very close to River Niger, River Benue here in Adamawa State. Those days, we know that this river is a very big, wide body. But now you can see that these rivers, humans can even enter, and it will not even get to their waist. So what are causing this? They are all climate change and all that. But not to take much of our time, I'll just stop here. But there are a lot of indicators that will talk about climate change. But I'll just hold on for now and then hear from other members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Let's react to that. Thank you so much. Awesome. Phoebe, can you confirm that you can hear me? Awesome, because I look at me trying to only ask the ecologists, what are the signs of impact of climate change in our environment? And I got a whole lot of answers from irregular rainfall, rivers drying, drought limiting farming, shrinking of rivers, and a whole lot that came. And I'm seeing a lot of hands up, But because of time, I want to just hear from Phoebe. Phoebe, are there other things you should add to this list? Has signs. This river one you mentioned is heavy. These things are very true. Is Phoebe back on the call? Okay, so I'll just take one more response and then move to the next question. I saw Glory, your hand was up. I saw other hands up, they've all gone down. All right. Phoebe is really having network thing. Any more signs to add to this list? Or these are the signs? We don't want a second silence. All right, Wilson, Peter, over to you. In addition to the list that I already have mentioned.
Yeah, so good afternoon, colleagues. So my name is Wilson from JPAC. Got invited by my ED. So another sign that I observe is that before, still coming from Maiduguri, usually you see the sign of dust when rainy season is starting. But now, almost every time that is about to rain, you see this dust, which is an indication that the issue of encouragement is becoming prevalent over the period of time. Instead of just once or twice like that we used to observe in the past, now almost every rainy season, these dust will rise because on a regular, people are cutting down trees and there is no provision for replacing those trees. Thank you, and over.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dust rising is also something very key that we should take note of. And thank you so much for being here. And I also want to commend your ED for inviting her people to be here for this awesome conversation. All right, so Peter, the spoken word artist, confirm that you can hear me. My question is coming to you now.
Yes,
Peter,
I can hear you, man.
Awesome. All right. So my question is, what first drew you to using spoken word as a tool to talk about climate change? What was that propelled you to use your spoken word skill to talk about climate change? Do you want to share with us?
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for this question. It's a wonderful question. And I believe maybe if I answer this question, a lot of people also want to take same action. Because what first drew me to take this action was that there was a lot of things happening and nobody is saying anything about it. A lot of changes. Like if you check in the past and when we were growing up, we see older people strong and doing some kind of activity. But these days now, I find out that from 30 years upward, you find out that a lot of people will be suffering from rheumatism, from one sickness to the other. And you see almost everybody is now is on supplements, trying to complement and trying to look fit. Whereas those days it wasn't so. So and again, the climate, and on agriculture, how our food how our food production has been affected. The soil that is supposed to be more fertile is losing its fertility because those chemicals that were applied has already damaged most of the microorganisms and most of the nutrients that the soil is supposed to give to the plant. So to me, it's the knowledge gap and how people are just reluctant about it. So I see this as a very big problem if not tackled, because if it's not tackled now, then what's the hope of our generation? That means with time, because the rate is constantly increasing. So with time, I believe if nothing is being done, then something great, something worse is about to happen. But that's why I see it as an emergency for we to take up this climate action. Everybody coming to community development, I've seen how flood destroy communities and bring a very great setback in the development and destroying health, mental health, a lot of all of these things. So, and people are just saying, okay, it's nature, it's God. Most people think they can do nothing about it. So I just want to pass the information and help them know that we can actually change this narrative, we can actually change this happening in our environment and have a good, stable climate once again. Thank you.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. One of the things that I got that was very striking, to me is first you saw it as a young person, at your age, you saw a problem that has always been repeating itself. You didn't have to sit down and wait for resources, a platform, funding. You didn't have to wait for things to be given to you on your table to actually, contribute to addressing it. You saw silence in voices among people. You also saw silence in actions. And then you also recognize that this is an emergency, especially also pointing out that people at age 30 are already like struggling to survive in a very fit way compared to before. That was a very good thing to like mention. And I must really commend you for sharing that. I believe, like you said, many people will hear this reason and also be influenced to start doing something right from where they are and with the little that they have, or with the natural skills that they have. Look at you, you're using your voice, your spoken word, and it's amazing. All right, so my additional question to you, Peter, so that we can be done with you. So do you think young people are really involved in climate change conversation and climate action? You're a very good observer, observing history, present, past, tense, and all. I want to hear from you. What are you observing from young people? Are they really like involved?
Okay. Lately, based on my observation, I'm not seeing enough. I'm not seeing enough turnouts from the young people in taking up climate actions, because though the climate matters is circulating and is becoming rampant now, that is to show that there's going to be a revolution, that there's going to be a new strategies from the young people that will change the narrative. That's our hope. But I'm not seeing enough turnouts. I think young people need to do more. Young people need to get this information and get involved. And I also think maybe they don't also have the platform where they can actually speak up or get included. So they just tend to do other things, giving their attention far away from climate matters. So if they can also be given rooms and giving avenues where they can actually come in and use what they have at their disposal to make a change, yeah, it will really inspire them to do more. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Please, can we be muting our mic if you're not speaking? This is a modern era of meetings, so you just be very conscious of your mic so that we don't obstruct. Thank you. All right, so something Peter said that was very striking, that he recognized that young people are not really into this or adding their voice from his observation. Of course, you might say it's not true or it's true, but that is his observation and is entitled to that. And then the most important thing that he mentioned is that many young people don't have the platform. So on that note, I want to educate or inform everybody here in this group that if you're a young person and you're probably looking for a platform to say, oh, I want a platform where I can also be part of actions that I will take to contribute to this issue, you believe that you have something in you that you can use, you have a potential, you want to be part of this, you have the passion, you have the interest, I want to introduce you that we have platform for you at TFT. TFT has something we call the Today's Impact Community. I'm just going to introduce that now. We call it the TIC. There, you can be a young person and you don't need any kind of technical skills to make impact. All you need is, have you seen the problem? And do you have the interest to solve that problem? Do you think you can? It could be an idea. If it's a yes, it's a free entry. You are very free to join that platform. From there, you can pick an area of interest of problem that interests you, and you will see other fellow like minds of young people there. And together, you guys start doing something little as you can at your little corner with your platforms in solving those problems. So, Peter, that has solved platform problem. We have the platform. If you're interested, just message us or let us know that you want to be part of it even after this meeting, and you will see yourself join in there. Victor, kindly drop your number. Victor is our connector in TIC. He will just quickly onboard you, and then you start your journey from there. In case your issue here has been, oh, I don't have the platform. Today for Tomorrow is that platform. That is what the organization is about. It's a youth thing, youth movement, and we are all out for that. So I believe that has been addressed. All right, so I'll be asking, I'm going to Glory Kwame for a question. And then Phoebe is back, but I'll come back to you, Phoebe. Let me go to Glory Kume. Glory Kume, can you comment that you can hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. Just give me a second for your question. Favor, can you help me pop up? Okay, I've seen it. All right. So the next question for Glory is, I call Glory a naturalist in spoken word. We found Glory in one of our programs in a conference, right? TFT conference. And she wrote to us on Facebook that she wants to present a spoken word on the topic, on the theme of the conference. We said, okay, why not do that? But when Glory started performing her spoken word, people stood up and there were chills. Like, she sent a deeper message to us. And I said, this is a naturalist as a spoken word artist. She didn't learn it. She didn't have to go for training. God gave it to her as a natural gift, right? So, Gloria, I want to ask you a question. As a naturalist spoken word artist that you are, if you could change a climate change issue with your words, actual change, or not, I want to change a word, actual change, what will it be? Glory, if you could change one thing around climate change.
Thank you very much for that question. So as a spoken word artist, one of the things that I have understood with my voice is that it has the capacity of just changing people's mindset. People have a way of paying attention to what I say and then taking it personal, even putting it into action. I had noticed it, and I have even a sample, especially young persons. They just have a way of capturing it and making use of it. So in the aspect of climate action now, one of the ways that I can solve a climate problem is by speaking to it. Like now, for instance, if I go to a community, I'm to go to a community where there are actually flooding issues, and the reason why there's that flooding issue is because the drainage, they are always clogged and all of that. Lending my voice in that area into climate action is speaking to the young persons in that community. And I am so sure they would be convinced for us to actually engage and do it willingly even.
Amazing. Amazing. Please, let's be reacting to some of this and people are speaking. So Glory, you just entered my follow-up question, because one of the things we like to see when it comes to behavioral change for us at TFT is to see real-time results, not activity-based only, but I want to see that at the end of the day, result happen. So a year from now, because Glory, I see that even if you now focus fully to be known with your spoken word in attacking climate issues, that can even make you a very big global icon. You will start becoming like the Ivy Quake, Ivy Quake that speaks on generic, with a spoken word. There's somebody that speaks spoken word on peace building. You guys know her name. She's a global peace ambassador right now. Who knows her name? Just echo it. I want to tell Glory
Mariam
something.
Mariam Bukar, Al-Han Islam.
Awesome. So she used her spoken word, and she became globally recognized as a peace ambassador globally. And she's from Nigeria. She's from the north. She's a lady, an Hausa person. So Glory, this is like a cue for you that you can, like directly be alarmed, like be that alarm on climate context with your spoken word, right? So now my last question is, a year from now, that's 2027, what change will you want your voice as a woman to have help create in your community? Because we'll come back to assess the community that you are living, Glory, that has happened with your voice in 1 year. What is that change that you're going to see specifically?
Okay, so down to my community now. In 1 year time,
we will monitor you. Glory,
there's no problem. Okay, in 1 year time, I would have a community of young persons that have like proof of projects that they have done in relation to climate action. I might not specify the projects now because I don't have it drafted yet, but in 1 year time, I would have a community of young persons that I have convinced. Let's say maybe they have zero or little, have knowledge on climate change, but have not really taken any action. I would have persons that I had convinced, and we have executed some projects with impact stories.
Okay, I'm writing for you. Number of persons you have convinced will be tracked, and the things that they did with what you convinced them to do. Awesome. We'll come back to that next year, 2027, when we are hosting the next webinar. All right. So at this point, I've been given a directive. I'm only a question moderator here on this webinar right now. I've been given a directive that we all need to make a pictorial commitment, now. So if it's okay for us to like put on our videos I'm asking our consent for a very brief commitment picture. All you have to do is to say, just do like this to show that you commit to addressing climate issues. Put on your video and a picture will be taken. That commitment, that thing alone is very solid. That all of us, 30, how many of us now? We were 36 before, it's now 32. 32 of us have committed to say, I will play a key role as well to tackle climate issues. Hands up, everybody. Yes, thank you. Gloria, when you take the picture, let me know. When pictures have been taken, let me know, please. Can I have pictures on the big screen taken, please? All right, so I'll do a countdown. 5. Glory, when you're done, let me know. 4, 3. Everybody, commit. 2, 1. You smile now. Say 16. You're not ambushed to make commitment. 16, and let your teeth show. Just do 16, 16. You see yourself smiling. 16, that's the trick to smile. 16, 16. Glory, are you done? Are you done? Done? Can I get a yes? Sorry, this hand that is paying as part of the commitment. Glory, Favor, are we done with the pictures? Yes. Oh, rest your hand. It's part of the work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. You can put up your video now. All right. So this is the point where, please, if you're everybody that have been here, if you have questions, please let me know. You can indicate with your hands up, or you can write in the comments section so that we can take your questions. It's also very important. Your contribution, your questions are also very key. Before I go into asking the general question that I will throw it to everybody, I will no longer ask speakers, but I'm going to throw it to everybody, that is going to answer that. Just giving time in case we have questions. All right, so I'm seeing people interested to join the platform. Just keep putting your interest on the chat box. Victor is taking note of that. All right, so when you hear, I'm going to ask generally now, you can give me keywords. When you hear climate change before now, or even now, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And what are the changes you've personally noticed in your community that is connected to that? I mean, we've mentioned changes before. I think we've had enough. But when you hear climate change, what comes to your mind? Especially for those linking it to other programs. People say, oh, globally now they are linking climate change to reproductive health, climate change to mental health, climate change to, different sectors. Some people are struggling, even programmers, are struggling to link, oh, we don't do climate change, we're doing this program, but we can link all of this to something. So when you hear climate change, let's hear from you. What comes to your mind? 3 persons, 4 persons you want to indicate to share? Let's know. Because somebody will leave here with clarity on what comes to your mind when you hear climate change. All right, Biliam, oh my God, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. Biliaminu Mukhtar. Over to you, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, all.
Afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm Bilaminu Mukhtar from Zamfara State, Namoda local government. And I was asked to join this great, yes, ma. I was asked to join this great conversation from my Oga, that is Dr. Dalla Dienia. And I would like to contribute based on the, at least, causes and effect of this climate change. which I believe some of my colleagues have already thought about it. And then, as we all know, there is a lot of causes of these climate changes. Some of these are generating of power as a global emission comes from the burning fossil fuels to produce electricity and heat. Most of electricity is still generated by burning coal, oil, or gases, which produces the carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide. And then the powerful greenhouse gases that blanket the earth and trap the sun heat globally. That is a third of electricity comes from wind, solar, and other renewable sources, which as opposed to fossil fuels emit little to no greenhouse gases or pollutant into the air. We also have the manufacturing goods. The manufacturing and the industry produces emission, mostly from the burning of fossil fuels to generate the energy needed to make the thing like cement, iron, steels, electronic plastics, clothes, and other goods. Then mining and other industrial processes also releases gases as does the construction industry.
Biliamino, you're a very solid expert. Now, I want to rephrase my question to you particularly so that we can take home that. If you are to consider climate change problems, what would there be to you? What do you think are climate change problems? So that we know that I've used your response to tackle problem identification on climate change. What are climate change problems? If young people or people are to know this is the climate change problem, what could it be?
Climate change that we can at least we can at least minimize is the at least mostly in our communities is some of these uses of these deforestations. You know, by deforestation, in most communities we are using this the wood. That wood which causes at least the deflation on our ozone layer. I believe that deforestation will have to be at least considered to stop deforesting the forest so that we have a fresh air, which will, I believe will contribute at least having a standard or will reduce in that of changing of our climate or affecting our climate changes.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks. I would like to hear a female voice. Female voice now, especially as it affects women, girls. What are the climate change problems that are very alarming, especially as it affects women? During the podcast that we hosted, there were a lot of things pointed out that women face when it comes to do with climate change and how it affects them. Do anybody want to share here? I want to hear a woman voice. I'll come back to you, Japta. I'll come back to you, Japta. Maybe you're also going to answer me. What are the problems you think women face when it comes to climate issue? But I need to see a female that wants to answer this question so that you tell us as it be. You as a woman, tell us by yourself. I see Madam Rhoda. I might want to invite Madam Rhoda. She has been on this call from the very beginning. Madam Rhoda has been here, like very actively participating. Madam Rhoda, which kind of problem do you think women face when climate changes or effect happens?
Okay, hello. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you hearing me? Are you hearing
yes,
me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Fantastic. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and overwhelmed to be part of this meeting. And honestly, when I heard Dr. Hola talks, he's a person that is well known. He has been training us. And me being an ED of my own organization, being that it's all what connects one to be like what I want to be in life. What will I want to impact somebody there, to change a life out there? and being a social worker at the same time, you know, when we started of this climate change, it's like just is what we've been taught of, to tell people what you're supposed to do in your community. And when people was talking of equality, I say, Jesus, it's like social work is a profession, everything involved that affect people in the community, in the society. And if we can go, if that's just, where am I going to start? Because this is something that affects us every day. And when we come to like ask, what is, what is affecting women most? I'm telling you, my dear sister, in all aspects of climate change is affecting women. It's affecting women. Coming to tree cutting in the environment. You will come as a woman, you want to cook, you don't have tree to cook. Even the charcoal becomes so expensive. And as a woman too, when flood happens, just like what happened in Maiduguri, you will come and see women in their thousands packed in one place with their children. You see? So I think women are at the receiving end. And again, there are man-made problems. We made it for ourselves. We, the women, again, we contribute so much in a man-made problems affecting the environment. You will just gather your dirt in the house, you will just give somebody, go and throw it. And that person will go and throw it to block the drainages that the government made for our own good. And you will not even check, where do you throw it? That ends it. And before you know it, the place will be filled up. The drainages that the government created for us to avoid flood will block it. And when it happens again, you will hear the little children are being carried away by flood, and women are out there again in their thousands looking for shelter. You know, it's like in everything we look at it, women are at the receiving end. But why? How can we do? Enlightenment, just like what people said, or what some of the colleagues said, is enlightenment. Because this enlightenment, we can never take it for granted. It's something that you will not be tired of saying. Some people cannot take something. When you say once, it cannot enter their ears. But when this one said it, somebody like said it, this said it. You know, at times we say, okay, this thing has entered me. So I think what you guys did is at the right time. It's at the right time. And we have organizations and we are looking for funding, we pray that one day we'll get funding to that effect so that we'll do more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Rhoda, for sharing that. I mean, when you were speaking, you guys, I could feel it. I could feel the fire. I could feel the fire, the passion. Actually, she you know why is so passionate like this? Because she's a woman. She knows where it's pinching when it affects women. She mentioned something very striking. That when climate change crisis happen, you know, you see women in their numbers with children. And sometimes these women have gone through the process of childbirth and now lose that child because of the climate effect of something like flooding. And then the cooking, they cut down all the trees that, you know, women have to go and look for what we used to cook. You know, it's very alarming. And then he exposed them to being raped. This is how you can link climate to rape issues, because the woman is going far to go and like get trees to cook. She's exposed to, somebody can attack her and she's raped, you know, and she's exposed to unplanned pregnancy, infectious diseases, you know, a lot of things could just happen. And then she mentioned a whole lot. Thank you so much for highlighting that. I will just go to the next question, Madam Rhoda. All right. Okay, I see Asmao is raising her hand. Okay, I'm going to call you Madam Asmao. But one word I want to say to Madam Rhoda, especially when she said she hoped that soon she get funding to also respond to these issues, you know, just like what we are saying right now. While we are waiting for the funding to come, let's drive into action. Madam Rhoda, I don't mind. You can reach out to us as an organization, TFT, right? And we tell us the idea, or what exactly do you think you can do that even without funding, we believe that sometimes even without the major amount of money, you can also still solve a problem, and we can partner with you in doing something. We can join forces at your location in making an impact on this issue. We have our young people at TIC community. We have different groups of people that want to join you to embark on that journey. So just let us know if you would love us to work with you, or support you, you know, in creating something that will be an action that you will do in the next 3 months or 6 months, that might not even require cost, but you will still make that impact. You still make that action. From there, it will become something solid that you could even use to propose for a funded project that in no time next year or soon, you'll be funded and you will go full time in implementation. I don't know if you would like that, Madam Rhoda. Please reach out to Victor. Victor will share his number again in the group chat. Victor, please drop your number again. But Madam Rhoda, write to Victor and say you are Madam Rhoda and you are interested to, partner or develop a concept. I will put it up from there. Thank you so much.
I'll do that. I'll do
Victor
that.
has dropped his number. So Madam Asma, over to you, ma'am. You are muted, please.
Okay, I want to add some little understanding that I have from the previous speakers. So you are asking of how does climate change affect women in general? So to me, as climate change is a gradual change in the weather that people observe over time. Like there are certainties that our grandparents and parents have not experienced with the climate change, but the environment certainly faces certain challenges, whether man-made challenges or it happens globally. So there's taking, for example, the changes in temperature. This change in temperature really affects the cycle of a woman. So also it has its own effect on men, but not as in women. Like the menstrual cycle, the weather condition is also, it affects the menstrual cycle of most women. Like during the high temperatures, some ladies experience irregular periods or even heavy flow compared to when the weather is a bit cool. And also even the percentage of fertility is also being affected by the weather. And secondly, as Madam Rhoda said, that experiences of certain environmental hazard like the flooding. When we were young, we've not heard of flooding. If flooding is being had, is from the neighboring countries, but now flooding is rampant in Nigeria. So that is also a sign that is showing that really the climate is changing, and the change is not, we can't say it's for good. The change is alarming, that it is really causing damages in our lives, and it might cause a lot if care is not taken. So we need to now set how will I put it? We need to set certain strategies as individuals within our community to see how can we tackle by sensitization and other awareness, and by showing also good example in good environmental management. I think it will go a long way in trying to, at least for the naturally occurring environmental hazard and the man-made, can be controlled. So this is what I have in addition. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so I have 2 more questions and then we'll soon wrap up this webinar. I know it's very interesting, but I also know that our time really matters. All right, so I'm going to ask, anybody can answer, around solution thinking. Like, how do we think of solution in the midst of this problem? Let's think of a way out. If you had an opportunity now, everybody on this call, you have an opportunity now to lead one climate solution project in your community, with support and resources, what will it be and what impact do you think it will achieve? Should I say it again? Open check question. You don't even know if a funder is on this meeting. Funders are here. If a funder might be listening to you. So just indicate, I'll just pick 3 people. But if you start saying, if you, I can analyze when things are not well said. If you start saying, I'll just say, hello, we'll call the next person. That's, by the way, that's just a joke. Right? The question again is, if you had an opportunity to lead one climate solution project in your community with the support that you need, technically, resources and otherwise, what will it be? And what impact do you think it will have when you do that project? Oh, I see Phoebe, I see, so I'll call on Jepta, then Phoebe. And then I'll pick one last person after. All right, Jepta, over to you.
Good day, everyone. It's my pleasure to be on this platform. calling from JEPASI, Gender Equality, Peace and Development Center, from Meduguri office. Yeah, climate change basically is human activities that actually heat up the atmosphere. And as a result of that, it affects the ozone layer. And these are why we see changes in our weather condition and adversely affecting human activities, and as well as in order for us to survive as humans here on the planet Earth. To this end, we JEPASI are currently implementing a project titled Building Leadership Capacity of Women and Women-Led Organization to Lead Initiative on Climate Change or Mitigate Climate Change and Build. These are young women and women to gain resilience towards to climate change, as well as gender-based violence prevention and response, and peace building in 3LGA, namely Jerry Mafa and MMC here in Borno State. So in a way of mitigating climate change that also has an impact or effect rather to GBV. When women go to bush to get firewood in order for them to cook in their houses, is also affecting these women. When they go in
All right,
there,
so my question, yes, so Jeff, I'm just giving you an open blank. I'm giving everybody like an open blank elevator pitch, you know, that might lead to support for you. We are asking for solution. What is, let me ask that again in a very maybe more clear terms, right? So that you can just answer that. That what climate change solution projects will you love to lead that will have an impact, and what impact will it have? So propose a concept, an idea, like pitch, shoot your shot.
fine.
You get, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So as we are
Pastor.
currently implementing already, we are mitigating climate change. Let me just talk a little on the impact of mitigating climate change as to going to the bush to get firewood. We are able to train these women on briquette production, and as such, they are making a living out of it. They are also making sales, as well as utilizing these briquettes for the household in order to make food and eat, as well as provide for the family. So this is one of the impacts with regards to the project we are currently implementing here in Borno State. So my proposed project or topic is mitigating climate change with regards to the environment, because as a result of the flood that just happened, some of our project locations, you have places where there's water luggage as well as death field within these our communities. So we also currently, in a way of preventing it, we are creating awareness on environmental campaign on how to maintain good hygiene and to manage such events they found themselves in, whereby they live in a community whereby there's places where there's lots of refuge dumped and water lock together with the death. So we do a lot of environmental awareness campaigns in order for these youth and women to know how to manage living in such an environment. So the proposed topic is to support us in order to mitigate this challenge of living in an environment where it's filled with water lock and death.
Okay.
So responding to these effects of these climates.
All right. Let's celebrate that, please. I believe that the right ears have heard the proposed concept, and also if anybody is interested to partner with his organization and with him on the things that he said that they want to do, feel free. Jepta, please write your email or your contact on the chat box. That's one of the things I want people to take home here. Some of you might live here with your partner. Some of you might live here with somebody that will recognize you to even want to fund. Some of you might live here with information that you use and go and take action that will bring results. Something great can happen from here. All right, Phoebe, over to you. The same question, please.
Thank you so much. So over the period of time I've been doing this advocacy work, one of the biggest climate crises that I've observed isn't really about carbon emissions or deforestation and all. To me, I've come to the understanding that it's about human behavior, and behavior begins to form from childhood. Now, research have shown that even children who learn environmental habits early carry those values into adulthood. And by so doing, they're able to influence their families, their communities, and even ultimately the world around them. But then I came to the understanding that I've observed that so little of what children watch on screens teaches them about how to care for the planet and their everyday lives. So I came up with an idea, which is a brand new animated series, a cartoon series for children from the ages of 4 to 10 who are ready to make a big difference. And through this cartoon series, they are able to learn simple everyday habits that helps them protect their environment, from saving water, caring for trees, cleaning up trash, just basic environmental conscious attitudes. So they get to learn it from this cartoon series. So I'm hoping to partner up with schools and NGOs that have passion for children and are looking forward to actually inculcate climate education into children, because I believe it is going to help push this particular project forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Please, those that have heard how to reach, please drop your email as well for partnership, and anybody that wants to work with you. Yeah, even we are going to reach out to you as well. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. I see Victor, you want to propose project? All right. Let me call PC and then call Victor. We are proposing solutions. All right. PC, over to you. I know you said PC is not your name.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Good afternoon. Like I said earlier on, my name is Charles Henry Tapalna. I'm not PC, it's just automatically saved from my laptop. So looking at what Phoebe has mentioned, it clearly pinpoints social behavioral change as one of the critical issues of climate change, because most of these things, not as if people don't really know it, it's as the result of lack of changing behaviors and all that. So although we've tried, the solution that I'm trying to propose is something that we've tried, and I saw that it worked. And then here in Zamfara, because JPAC also has a presence in the Northwest, Zamfara in particular. So the solution was one of on women, for instance, the smart climate change agriculture, where women are enrolled in the smart agricultural initiatives and all that also. And then we also inculcated digital literacy and also access to climate information, where sensitizations, literacy, sensitization and awareness happens bi-weekly also. And then women, because one of the critical issues in regard to climate change and then women empowerment is lack of women in decision-making opportunities or positions, where whenever we have people that are mostly affected, putting them at the level of decision making will highly impact decisions. And then also policy reviews and suggestions, coming up with adequate policies that needs to be reviewed, or also working closely with stakeholders that are champions of change. For instance, working because in the project we definitely, and then we ensured that we worked with agencies and stakeholders such as Ministry of Environment, Agency for Environment and Social Change Control here in Zamfara. So working closely with such agencies has really propelled women participation in solution for climate change and also the smart agriculture which we've tested. These women are really yielding change in the society, working together with community structures and then the state level stakeholders to ensure proper monitoring is being carried on. So I will stop here because I have much more to say, but time.
But no, we're also managing time. Thank you so much. Thank you so amazing solutions that have come out from here. I mean, even me, I'm like, wow, amazing solutions that have come out from here. Okay, so I want to say something that please, for all of us that have proposed solution, please take notes. Very important for results. If you've shared an idea here on a concept that you want to do or that idea you're doing, please take note of this. I'm going to invite, before I invite her, but Glory, please kindly drop the email in the chat box. What you're going to do if you have proposed idea is just a brief. This is not a full concept. What did you propose in this webinar today? Propose it. You propose that this idea, blah, blah, blah. We write it and then write your contact details, your name, your email, your organization, your state. Very important, so that write-up that you did, we're actually going to infuse all of this in our report with UN Women as well. You never can tell what outcome will come out from it. It's not a promise. We just want to document your ideas as you are saying it. That's why we're allowing you to go and write it as it is hot in your head, in your mind. Write it, but put your contact, put your email, put everything, and send it to that email that is going to be shared now on the group, on the chat. I'll read out the email. Email, please. Email, Glory, please. You see the email reading, resource mobilization email. Please, can they drop the email so that I can move past this information I'm sharing right now?
Yes, please. We'll drop the email shortly.
Yes, so they will drop the email, and also they will drop the attendance link. If you have not filled the attendance link, please fill. This thing I just said right now you will also be emailed to thank you for attending this webinar, and also put some key action points that have been said, as next step from this webinar, so that you also don't miss that email. You never can tell, this action could lead to another thing. So if you've not filled the attendance, please fill the attendance with your correct details. All right, yeah, so that nothing is missed. Once the email is dropped, I'll notify us here when the email is shared. All right, so I don't want to pick on solutions again. I want to go to the next question on commitment. On commitment. This one, nobody's going to monitor you. It's you and God, and you and this meeting. I remember in 2019 when I first attended the World Economic Forum at Geneva. Yes. And there was something significant that was simple that they made us do in that conference. We were all young people, of course, like we're in the conference. And they now called you, they now gave us a plain whiteboard card and said, take this whiteboard, write a commitment on what will you do. That's 2019, on what will you do that will also solve a problem in making change in your community. And this will be part of the global effort done by young people globally. So when I looked at that plain paper, I now asked myself, Adek, what do you want to do? At that time, I started TFT in 2016, driven by passion and all of them. We've already been doing stuff, but not as a formal, we've not legalized, we've not formally registered the organization and all of those things, But I was in that conference. And then that question was thrown to me. I looked at that plain sheet. I said, one of the commitments I want to do is to ensure that I use all of my youthful age and keep providing young people with the right information that will make them part of solution makers right from their grassroots. I wrote that statement and it lived with me. And that was what led to even thinking further It's time to push the organization further. It's time to do this. It's time, and that has led all my action. And even when I came back from Geneva that time, at that young age, I made a commitment to resign where I was working because I needed time to go all in to look for young people and make this impact and let's solve problems together. I needed time because, of course, you're working somewhere. They don't give you time to like do all of those things that you're doing at that time where I was working. I resigned and like I'm going all in for this impact journey. And since 2019 till date, I've still been on this journey. And I'm counting down to say, I can't wait for the years I'll be done with being a youth because I've already committed, put it down, to use all my youthful age to serve my fellow young people before I will even pick the next paid job. Do you get what I'm saying? So this commitment you're going to write and you're going to say it verbally for us to hear you. For most of you can write it in this chat box. The reason why you have to write, take the chat box as your plain sheet so that you can see what you wrote. When you write it, copy it and paste on your own dashboard. I believe that it will lead you to continue your actions into contributing towards climate change. All right. So reaction, if you understand what I just said, this just is not to make you feel good. It's not to inspire or inspired. It's not to just tell a story. It's to make you see the importance of what a personal commitment as in can do for you and for the world, right? Yes. So write out in that your plain sheet, what is that thing you want to commit in doing after today that will also support in addressing climate change issue in your community? Write it down. I give 5 seconds for that. I give 2 minutes for that. Take your time, write it down. Favor, if you have access to, no, let me play the music for you guys. I want to set the environment for you to think and go into that moment. Take these 2 minutes, think of that commitment and write it down. Start by writing in this chat box, right? I'll read it out, write them here. Then copy it and put on your dashboard in 2 minutes. So this 1 minute silence is for us to achieve that commitment. Please, can we just jump into writing? Write your commitment, whatever it is. Write it down. Write it down. I'm playing a musical sound for you to like get back to your mind and make a commitment today in this webinar. You might want to close your eyes and think deeper. What can I write down that I will commit to? Nobody will be there to monitor you. You're not writing it because you want to get funding. You're writing it because I want to do something. I want to do something to also solve climate issue. Write it down. At whatever age that you are right now. I wrote mine when I was younger. Write it down so you can see it and move into actions. Because at the end of the day, if we do nothing about this climate change, it affects us, it affects you and I. Today you might look very healthy, but you never can tell. Tomorrow, there might be a doctor report of cancer on your body. It could be anything. It could be seeing somebody close to you drowning in flood. It could be anything. So what can you do as a commitment? All right, I give 1 more minute. I'm looking at the chat box. I'm not seeing commitment, guys. Nobody want to make commitment here? Write it down. Write it down. Keep writing it down, guys. Amazing, I'm seeing some things. You're not compelled to do this, but being here is not to attend activities, not webinar. But going home, you're going out to do something after now. I'm reading through. Write your commitment down. If you can write your name, please write. I Glory commit to plant more trees in the next 10 years, at least 50, maximum of 200 each year. All right. We're not going to force people to do this activity. Let's see what. All right. Can you celebrate yourself, please, for making those personal commitments? Celebrate yourself, guys. Celebrate yourself. My mission in moderating this question part in this webinar is officially done. I'm just going to read out some of the commitments we have made. You guys, celebrate yourself. Now, you just made a huge commitment to the world. You just made a huge commitment that will change and help a life. I see Gambo said, first, I will want to get a new water bottle for myself. Baby step. Awesome. And it will help in reducing plastic bottles around. And you can even gift someone else. When you get that your plastic bottle, if you can crest it and say, my commitment to address climate change is this bottle I'm getting. Write it down. Do it. Amazing. Plant more trees. Wilson said, I want to plant more trees in the next 10 years, at least 50, a maximum of 200 each year. Awesome. I, Wilson, commit to plant more trees in the next, all right, he rephrased that. Awesome. Have a tree everywhere I go and influence at least 10 people to do same anywhere I find myself. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's from Peter Andrew. I commit to researching and knowing better on climate issues and raising a community of young people who understand climate change, understand their roles, what they can do, and together we'll do it. Awesome. That's from Glory. Amazing, amazing. I see Fatih said, I will create awareness. Your social media everywhere, your status. In fact, Fatih, you need to get my number. I want to monitor your status. I want to be resharing your awareness that you are creating. Follow me on everywhere. I want to be resharing whatever you're creating. I see Nazura said, I commit to and advocate for the planting. What is that? Of trees everywhere I find myself. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jacob just put email. I didn't see commitment. Okay, see, I commit to advancing awareness on climate change and its effect on talking at least one person weekly within my community. Awesome, very realistic. I'm not going to read all. These are awesome commitments. Just keep them coming. They are documenting them. They are taking note of them. And like I said, you to copy, paste it on your plain sheet, on your handbook. You know, you can write it somewhere and keep it. All right. So the last thing I'm going to do now before I hand over the microphone to Glory, who is our business development lead and our program lead in TFT. I want to introduce you to the other platform we had promised you we'll introduce you to. I've introduced one, which is the Today's Impact Community. This one, if you are passionate, you have passion, you've seen a problem, you want to solve it, you want a platform that you can do this thing with a collective, with like minds that also believe in what you believe in solving this problem. We said we have the TIC community platform there for you. That one, you don't need qualifications. You don't have to be a staff. You don't need to any interview, nothing. You just need your heart and your availability. TIC community people meet once in a month at their various locations, and they talk and they think and they plan and they go into actions of making impact together with themselves at different locations. This one is not tied to, oh, is Yola, oh, is Abuja. It's everywhere in Africa. So you could be anywhere and you're interested in part of TIC and you can't be part of TIC. The last platform I want to introduce you is TF. We have as a social enterprise at TFT, at Today for Tomorrow Initiative. And this enterprise is called the TFT Today Skill Hub. This is an experiential knowledge academy. This is a school where we use to provide career professional trainings for people. You could be a young person that wants to become an expert in A. Let's say you want to be an expert in communication, in projects, in I don't know what you want to be an expert in your area of career. You sign up and you're part of that academy. We bring in a decade expert to you who has been practicing that thing you're trying to become for at least 10 years, who teaches you their experience, who teaches you their lived experience, who teaches you the skills, link you to access to opportunities hold your hands and walk you through that career path, and you'll be very certain of result. And so it's a school that people sign up to go to. We have a 4 weeks learning training period if you're part of the academy. And after the 4 weeks training period, your tutor don't leave you by just training you. They automatically become your personal career mentor on that role. They mentor you again for 2 weeks, where you go and shadow learn from them. We call it the shadow learning internship period. You go to where the mentors work, or you shadow learn from who is already an expert to see in real time what does it take to actually work as this expert, this UN agency, this body. How can I play this role in that company or in that system? You know, it comes with that kind of internship. And we have other beautiful courses in the academy, different career courses. One of the most selling courses that we have in the academy is the one we call the blueprint structure. This one, I'm a personal tutor for this course. This one, you can come with your raw ideas, as skeleton as it is. It covers your identity clarity, your purpose discovery. It covers how you can set up your ideas to a system, and we build structures with you within your training period in that class. And at the end of the day, you go back with a 5 years roadmap plan that becomes a reality or result for you, from idea to reality to system. People have really been rushing that, and it's something that is very good and cool. And then the last thing that comes with anybody that takes our courses in the academy is that we have an accountability check-in every quarter for all our students, for all our alumni. So every quarter, you come and present to the academy where you are. I call it the progress presentation, where you are in what you're doing. And then while you're presenting, we're bringing in technical experts to listen to you and give you next insights, next expo, next step, next linking of what next you would do before your next quarter, that will just to ensure that you have result within 1 year of being part of the academy. So that academy is social enterprise. So therefore, it's not, of course, it's not a free training. But again, it's also not expensive, because we are also big on impact. And we are open to funders to also fund people, community members, private sectors, fund people that want to go to this academy, so they can also acquire these trainings for free. And then we provide the trainings for them. Or you yourself, you can come in, invest in yourself. It's not even expensive. Reach out to us and find out how. Victor or anybody, you can
Hello, good people. I think network actually kicked Mrs. Adegbasi out. She should be back in probably a few seconds. And however, right now I'd like to invite Ms. Glory Sebastian for the closing remark. Glory, are you here? Please, over to you. I'm passing the mic, the stage to you. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm here. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. We can.
Okay, thank you so much. And I know that my executive director will join shortly. But before then, I really want to appreciate everyone for joining. I also want to appreciate our funder, Women Peace Humanitarian Fund, and the UN Women team. And also want to most especially appreciate our partners. I saw colleagues from JEPASIN, so Mr. Patrick, Mr. Charles, Madam Rhoda, Jacob, and a lot of other organizations that are here with us. Thank you so much for joining us today. And also, just as my executive director had said about TIC, where we have a platform where you can bring in your ideas, and we have other persons that can help you implement the project. So we've shared our email address previously, so you can just email us and we are going to commit to follow up with you, starting from the concept note and to ensure that the project is being implemented. And lastly, I know you want the first speaking here. This is Glory Sebastian. So lastly, I want to comment our speakers. I want to comment Phoebe. I want to comment Andrew. I want to also comment my executive director for hosting this session. Thank you so much, Phoebe, for your insights that you shared. Thank you for telling us that the earth is calling us and it needs our attention, and also prompting our mind, what can we do different today to protect the earth, to protect our planet? People get shared the different things that we can do, to share different climate impacts, starting from affecting women. When women go to fetch water from there, they are being raped, and also the changes in raining pattern. And also Phoebe sharing that as young persons, we need to raise awareness, participate in environmental projects such as waste management. Very, very important. I know that right. I don't know if you have ever seen someone inside a vehicle and just finish taking a snack, and before you know it, the person will just throw the snack or the bottle over the window. So yeah, our action, the change we want to see actually be us. So please, let's try from here. Let's spread the word, and with the commitment that we've made so far, pledging to plant trees and every other thing. Yeah, we will definitely follow up. Yeah, we have your email, your phone number. Once in a while, we'll follow up to see that you have conducted or implemented what you committed. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying till this moment. We really appreciate. We look forward to seeing you in our next webinar. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, my executive director is back. I don't know if you want to round off our conversation. What she was saying.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to, they can search the Academy on LinkedIn. I don't know if they've dropped the link. But if you email us, you get to us whichever way. We are here to serve, everybody. Make things easy for you. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you soon in the next webinar.
Right. Thank you so much, Victor, our moderator, and thank you to our great communication team. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye.